What's up, everyone? Welcome to Four Eyes and the Giant. I am Jordi Steel, and I am taller than most people I know.
I'm Cameron, and I wear glasses when I watch movies most of the time. So
Sometimes.
sometimes it's a great
And
name.
this is our first podcast in over a year.
Yes, much over much.
Do we know when our last podcast
much more
went
than a
out?
year? I believe sometime in summer of 2019. Yeah, I know. It's a long time ago at this point.
So we're gonna try and in our first episode back on our new show, we've sort of forgotten about the other. You can still listen to the Oh Hi Films podcast.
And you seem to be over the fact that you didn't like doing it over Zoom, so that's better now that you're willing to accept new things into your life.
What are you on about?
You refused to do it online all the time with me. I was like, Jordi, I can't be asked coming into Edinburgh.
Cameron, Zoom wasn't a
online.
thing when we were
I
doing
meant
it.
fucking Discord or whatever. I don't care. It was like, I was like, oh, I wanted to be really
Well,
known.
yeah, I prefer doing it in person, but we can't do that right now. So yeah, we decided for our first episode back, we'd cover what happened since we last did a podcast. Not much.
No, it's been fairly quiet, I believe.
Been fairly quiet, very calm year. Nothing's been affected very much, apart from the world was set on fire, and Australia was literally set on fire, and then everyone decided to stay inside, go on holiday.
Which didn't affect anything at all. Like, there was no repercussions for the cinema industry, the restaurant industry, the nightclub industry, people's mental health in general. It was all perfectly.
Tell me about it. Yes,
fine, you know?
some people didn't get to go to Disneyland and buy lightsabers, and
I'm
still
so
haven't
sad.
been refunded for their holidays.
Jesus Christ. You never told me what that was going on. I thought you'd be refunded by now.
Oh no, that's an ongoing issue.
Scummy travel agents, you gotta love it.
Yeah. So yeah, we thought we'd talk about 2020 and the good and the rest of 2020. Looking back, retrospective.
Lovely.
So first we'll start off with what we managed to actually see in cinemas. Now, we had a good 2 months of cinema, and then, well, first off, I think when this was all going down, when it started, I was the first person to have a scare, because remember, we were at uni, or not at uni, but we were in the process of finishing third year, and I thought my flatmate, or he thought he had symptoms because it had come over to Britain, and yeah, so that was me stopped, and then everything stopped. So that was a shame. But yeah, what did we manage to see, Cameron?
I managed to get a good, like, not including the ones I saw, so like the ones I saw after, so like 6. So I got about 24 films in before we went down into lockdown, which was all right. I mean,
That's not bad.
Yeah, it started the year off of Bombshell, which was the one about Fox News. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't think I saw it at cinemas though.
There was some good films. The highlights for me probably being Bad Boys for Life.
Right, I still haven't seen that.
That's you need to watch all three. They really, honestly,
I've seen the
films.
first two.
Have you seen the first? We need to watch Bad Boys
when
for
I
Life.
was when I was very young.
Oh well,
like
great.
Too young
the
to
chemistry
understand.
between those two in that film, insane. I can't believe it still exists this long after the original.
Right.
That was great. Waves I saw afterwards with you, I believe. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Waves was one of my favorite films last year.
That was a surprise hit for us.
And then I didn't even realize I was going to enjoy it that much either, which was like I didn't expect a lot from it. What else did you catch that you enjoyed?
We saw 1917, which of
Yes.
course was fantastic. We saw that in IMAX, didn't we?
Yes, IMAX.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't the opening day, but it was close to opening day, I believe.
And it was brilliant, and
Yep.
Roger Deakins deserved all the praise and the awards that he got for it.
People don't like it that much. I've heard a lot of like backlash to it just because people like to be edgy, I would think. And you know, I disagree. They're like, oh, character development. I was like, oh, not the point.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, fuck off. Oh, do you know what was another good one in January? Richard Jewell. I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy. I don't understand. I can remember just like being like, oh no, I feel bad for him, but I don't know. I can't remember it because it's so far away now. That I can't remember it properly. I've only watched it that one time it was out in cinemas, and I remember enjoying it.
Yeah.
What I have watched more than once is Just Mercy, because I did enjoy Just Mercy.
Okay,
And
I fell asleep.
But you slept all the way through that.
I fell asleep.
But I loved it. I thought Jamie Foxx was incredible. What's his face? Michael Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan. Yes, he's a different Michael Jordan to the other Michael Jordan.
Not Michael Jordan, yeah.
Not Michael Jordan. He's incredible in it as well. That got shot at the Oscars completely, didn't it?
Yeah.
I believe that. Yeah, that was.
Completely.
Obviously. Moving into February, I mean, that was a pretty dire month, but in the grand scheme of things. But in the same time, like I remember it fondly. The Rhythm section came out at the end of January, and I saw it in February. I don't know if you saw the Rhythm section.
The Blake Lively film?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, that was atrocious. It was just boring. The action was dry. Blake Lively didn't manage to carry it, and neither did any of the supporting cast. It was really, really depressing.
Right.
The same goes for Doolittle. That was tragic.
Oh, you saw that? I haven't seen it yet, though.
Yes, you do. I mean, I fell asleep midway through, but I remember it being just horrible, utterly horrible. And then I woke up to Robert Downey's elbow deep in a fucking dragon's arse. So it was something.
Lovely. Another film was Sonic the Hedgehog.
You were cold on that. I enjoyed it for what it was. You weren't big on that, were you?
Nah. Hollywood trash. Just terrible.
Fuck off, Jordi. It was good.
No,
for a kids film, a video.
Looking back on it, I can't pick out something that like I could be like, oh, it was terrible. But like in the moment, I didn't really feel much. And then the highlight was the post-credits scene where Tails came out of a portal, and then we went woo, and we started we ironically started clapping, and then another guy behind us in the cinema. It was just me. It wasn't you, was it? You weren't there.
It was
me and Fraser. And then the only third person watching back in the cinema clapped along with us.
Oh no!
And it was nice. I don't know if he was doing it. I don't know if it was one of those like psychological things where if you hear people clapping, you clap along, or if he was also like ironically joining in on the joke. But yeah, that happened.
I managed to catch Promising Young Women because the Glasgow Film Festival was through February.
Oh, you've seen that
March.
already? Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was February into March. So I saw it was all kicking off around us, but it was like the world was on fire, but me like away, and all my buddies were just like going through Glasgow like, yes, films, nothing bad here, nothing bad at all.
Very lucky.
And then I saw like Death Dick Long, which still hasn't come out in the UK yet, I believe. Stuff like that. And then the surprise film at Glasgow Film Festival, and this was just before everything sort of like shit hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the first time I saw someone wearing a face mask in public.
All right.
The screening for the surprise film at Glasgow Film Festival, which was Promising Young Woman, which didn't end up coming out until like in the US at least until December, and still hasn't come out in the UK yet, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So great Bo Burnham performance.
All right.
He plays Bo Burnham.
Yeah. So then we went into hiding. We went into lockdown in Britain. Far too late, but that's political. What other sort of films came out during lockdown? Because obviously we went into this sort of era of the great streaming services where everything was being put on Netflix and Amazon and other ones. I'll kick it off. I had to move home, which wasn't fun because I was put on furlough, as were you. but
Yes.
you already live at home. And the day that I moved home, that night, me and my parents watched Eurovision.
Great film though.
Fantastic film.
Fantastic movie. I still sing like Volcano Man and what's it called? Hometown of Husavik or whatever.
Husavik.
That was
If Husavik doesn't get an Oscar nomination, riot. We have to riot.
I know, and it came out at the perfect time. That like in a way, it came out at the perfect time where everyone was sort of like just sort of demoralized. And then Eurovision comes. It's like, hey, let's have some fun, and we're like, yes, okay. I don't care that Edinburgh and Glasgow are the same thing to you. Let's just have some.
The geography of that film is not accurate.
No, not at all.
But the fact that they chose to focus on Edinburgh is fantastic.
Far too many times they focus on Glasgow.
Yeah. Another film that I watched was a documentary that came out on Netflix called Shirkers. I don't know if you've seen that. It is a film about I'll say Asian woman who tells the story of how she, when she was a child, well, not a child, but like a teenager or a young adult, she and her friends decided to make a film. And when they were making that film, a man opted in to produce the film and gave them money and gave them funding. And he then slowly started taking more control. And he was like, oh, I'm a lecturer, I'm a former filmmaker, I've got loads of friends, and I'm very professional. I'll do some directing for you as well as producing. And then he started doing rewrites, and then he chose to do the editing, and he took the footage, and then he ghosted the woman. So it was all about her trying to find what happened to this man, who this man really was, because he had like different IDs and different sort of aliases, and it was very, very shocking at times. The score is very, I'll say, haunting.
I hate myself.
But yeah, it's a fun film. Well, not a fun film, but it's an interesting film, and people should definitely watch it.
So that was on Netflix, yeah?
Yes.
I will have to watch that.
Yes.
That sounds like a good one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
What for me stood out in lockdown, I liked The Five Bloods. You did not like The Five Bloods at all. But
I didn't not like it. I just thought it was overrated. And I feel like Spike Lee just wants to do a TED Talk, and his next film will be a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I mean, he touches on very good points, I have to say, with Spike, but the subtlety is not his forte, I have to say. It's but even then, I thought Chadwick's performance in that, amazing. Chadwick Boseman, who we sadly lost last year, that hit me quite hard.
Yeah.
And the cinematography was great. Did you not agree that it was shot very, like, the way it switches between Vietnam and modern day? Like, that's pretty interesting. I thought
it was interesting.
I thought some of the performances were like I always forget his name. Who's the guy that's going to go up for supporting?
I don't know, and I feel really bad.
I feel really bad as well, but this guy who should be nominated for an Oscar.
The guy that goes crazy.
Yeah, the guy goes crazy.
Yeah. And gives the weird monologue, the very Spike Lee monologue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Palm Springs on Hulu.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Palm Springs is a great one.
That was a great film. Yeah.
Where we watched that last night. No, 2 nights ago, with the family, because I watched it on my own originally, and they thought it was great as well. I mean, you can't beat Andy Samberg, and that director's going on to do other things with him as well, which is exciting. So, great movie that. But that's the thing. There wasn't a lot of like streaming highlights. Although everyone's talking about how streaming was great last year, I can't think of that many films that I absolutely loved that came out just via streaming. I saw stuff at the film festivals on streaming platforms that were supposed to come out last year. I think some of them have been delayed. I mean, would you like me to talk about the films I saw at the film festival? I mean,
Do we have time? How
do we
many
have
did you
time?
see?
I saw loads of stuff, but like I saw stuff like Supernova,
All right.
which is the Colin Firth Stanley Tucci film.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. I cried my eyes out for a very, very long time when watching Supernova. They just set they go on a road trip into the Highlands of Scotland,
Mm-hmm.
and Stanley Tucci, I believe, Stanley Tucci has dementia, and they're going on a road trip, like a final road trip for like his performance or whatever, like his last kind of performance, and it's just they're coming to terms with everything because he doesn't have very long left, and it's just it's just so cute, and it just makes you sad, Jordy. It makes you very sad, and you'll never get to watch it because it'll never come out because Studio Canal are holding on to it for the rest of time, by the looks of it.
So that all happened, and then we made it to the end of the year. Before we talk about other stuff, what was your favorite film of the year?
Favorite film of the year? Yes, that's why I was looking for stuff. Soul, I think, ended up on top. Just, I mean, it was the last one I saw in cinemas last year as well.
All right.
Because that was in like October time when the cinemas were just about to close.
Right.
So I got to see that in a cinema, which was great. I think I'm one of like 5 people that ended up getting to see it in a cinema, because that screening at this the GFT was dead.
Right.
Absolutely fucking dead. No one was there bar me, my mum, and like some other folk. It was just no one. That was great in a big screen, and I watched it again, and I watched it again at the end of the year and really cemented its place as number 1 for me, I have to say. Very touching, very Inside Out, and I love Inside Out. So yeah, what about you? What's your favorite film of the year?
Parasite.
Fair enough.
Saw it at the beginning of the year. It won loads of awards, deservedly. It was a great film, and then unfortunately just nothing topped it.
That's fair.
Throughout the rest of the year, yeah. It's a great film. Watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. What other stuff did you do in 2020, Jordy? Did you do
in
anything?
2020, I went on walks. I moved home.
That's exciting for you.
Yeah.
What did I do that was fun? I got like 20 platinums on PlayStation. I spent a lot of fucking time playing my PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Good amount of time on that. My ulcerative colitis got much worse than it was. So
do you want to explain, people?
No, I don't want to explain anymore. I would just say I was in a lot of pain for a lot of the year. Happy days on that one. What else did I do? Not an awful lot, really.
No. Yeah.
It was a boring time. I didn't really leave the house because I was on shielding, so I couldn't like leave the house bar the time they lifted shielding for that like 1 month where I went to the cinema and saw Tenet, which was a very strange time. I mean, remember when we met up? The last time I saw you was in August, end of August.
Oh yeah, there was that mid part.
Mental.
Yeah.
Where we saw some stuff in the cinemas. I don't know. How did you feel about going back to the cinema?
It felt a bit dangerous. I felt a bit. it was a bit terrifying. Like it did take just one maybe overcrowded theater to make me be like, nope, I'm leaving. But luckily there wasn't that many people, and we did only go on one day, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we managed to see a good film. A film I liked watching it, and then have slowly realized that it's not that good, and a terrible film.
I'm assuming I'm going to list those ones. So I'm going to go for the film that you thought was okay, and then you realized it was bad, was Tenet, obviously.
Yes.
The bad film was The New Mutants.
Yes.
Which finally came out this year. Yep. And the good film was Baby Thief.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff indeed.
Purely because of Ben Mendelsohn.
I will add to that, when you went to go and see Tenet on the day we met up, I went to go and see Unhinged, the Russell Crowe film that was supposed to save cinema along with Tenet, and that was fun. It was actually, I mean, I don't know if you've had a I don't know if it's on streaming services yet, but if you ever get a chance to watch it, watch it, and watch it with Fraser. Have a couple drinks. Just fucking, it's a laugh. Honestly, it's so funny. It's just stupid. It's about a woman who texts and drives, and then Russell Crowe's like, "Don't do that, hun," and like chases her down for like the entire day in the car and tries to fucking kill her. It is road rage at its finest. Honestly, it's something.
So, as you can see, we miss the cinemas dearly, and that's going to bring us into our main topic of today, which is our favorite cinema experiences. Times that we have gone to the cinema and they live in our head rent free now.
What video lives in your head rent free?
What video lives in your head? Tell me about a video that lives in your head rent free without telling me about a video that lives in your head rent free. For me to start off with one that's very, I guess not recent anymore, but very, very obvious. Endgame, when we went to see Avengers Endgame.
I will never. That is a night that will live in my head for the rest of my life.
Yeah, we saw Infinity War before, and then we saw Endgame, and it was I'd give anything to experience it again. I went numb halfway through because I was just feeling, I was so excited. But yeah, I could, if they announced that there was going to be a Marvel film that was like 5 hours long, I'd be fine with that.
Oh my god, the portal sequence, and you're just like,
yeah,
I still get chills. I watch it again. I watch it sometimes. I watch just that bit sometimes on the internet and go, like, and then I would just kill.
It's one of the greatest cinematic moments of all time.
You can't dispute that. I don't think for a lot of people it would be. Some people will be like, "Oh, but what about like?" You can't.
I've never met or seen anyone. I'm probably just not looking in the right places, but I haven't seen anyone that didn't like Endgame. Because it was just a perfect film. It was a best of the last 11 years.
Yeah.
And it closed storylines that some of us didn't even realize were still open. It made referencing. It did fan service without becoming too nonsensical and ridiculous, and it's just perfect. And that's how Rise of Skywalker should have been, but they didn't.
I know. And also I would like to add, just before we move on to the next one, it's the only time that I think a cinema has clapped, for me at least, during a film, not like at the end of it or anything like that, but like properly clapped. Maybe because you've had like in America, I wouldn't count America, but in the UK, it's the only time I've ever had where they've gone where Cap says "Hail Hydra" in the elevator and walks out. And for some reason, everyone just went fucking yes, that was great. Or when he picked up the hammer as well?
Yeah, probably.
Our cinema clapped as well. I think they did as well. Now they didn't clap for any of the portal sequence because I think we're all just flabbergasted. Yeah. But they clapped for the picking up the hammer, which was just like, no, that's what it was when you looked at me and I looked at you and I was like, they just fucking did that. They just fucking did it. Like when they picked it, when he went like that and just started attacking Thanos with the hammer, and I looked at you and you looked at me and we were like, fuck yes, they just did it. That was my favorite moment. You mentioned the Rise of Skywalker. That was one of my favorite cinematic experiences for the triple bill.
Oh right, yeah.
Where it was like we went as a free with Joe from uni, and I was looking forward to it so much, and I was like overhyped, and I was like ready for it. The film started, and I was like, oh fuck. Like it took about half an hour, and I was like, oh for fuck's sake. Like what the fuck have they done? You know, after like watching one of my favorite Star Wars films of all time, then immediately going into that and being like, oh, okay, I see how it is. You came off it pretty high though, which is what confused me the most.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's great, it's brilliant, and then I started thinking, oh, it's like, yeah, it was very much like I should have seen how it was gonna go as soon as the Dead Speak appeared, and just the fact that it was like, oh, if you didn't read the comics, Palpatine's alive now.
No, it wasn't even the comics, because I read all the fucking comics and I listened to all the tie-in novels. It was Fortnite.
Yeah, it was. It was a wasted opportunity. And then over lockdown, Colin Trevorrow's script came out, and it was fantastic.
Yep.
And it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a damn shame.
It's a damn shame. going back to a good one for me, the the first time I saw Lawrence of Arabia,
All
and
right.
I'm gonna go a bit more weird now. I saw Lawrence of Arabia in 70mm in the film house in Edinburgh,
Okay.
and I have never seen something so epic in my entire life.
Right.
Just being wrapped up in that film, in like, and it actually you can hear the rumbling of the projector behind you. You can hear the fucking majestical, like, because it was like an old school presentation. So before the film starts, they have the music. They have like the, you know how in like an orchestra, like they have like the music from the film plays just before it with a blank screen, nothing on the screen, and like the
Yeah.
music plays to kind of get you
Like
in the mood.
2001.
Yeah, like that. It has that, like 2001. Because I've seen 2001. Did we see it together, or did I see it
No,
on my own?
I saw it over lockdown for the first time living
Oh
at home.
fuck!
Yeah.
I must have tried to get you to see that in 70s though, because that's one of my other ones. Lawrence of Arabia and Space Odyssey are both tied for 70mm presentations that I've seen, and have the intermission, and they have the old school intermission. They have the old school start and stuff. And when the film ends, it just ends. The curtains close, and it's just like, and I love it. And you're just sitting there, just like, I fucking adore this.
So it's no Irishman,
No, it's no Irishman where
which
you're
we
just
can
like,
wait to leave.
why
I
didn't
can't
we, why
feel
didn't
my
we-
ass.
Why didn't we leave that? Like, why didn't we just get up and go? Was it? Oh, because we were stuck, weren't we? We couldn't just like,
Yeah,
evacuate.
it was so sort of crammed in the film house, and it was a lot of old people.
The film house is great when you're not in a sold out showing, because I saw both those films in quite quiet crowds.
Mhm.
And I remember the woman next to me, who was a bit older, she turned to me and was like, "Have you seen this before?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "You got to tell me what you think at the intermission." And I was like, "Okay." And then she just looked at me and I was like, "That was fucking brilliant." And she's like, "I know." That was great. What about you? What's another one that sticks out for you?
Another one was when we went to see Old Boy at Cineworld. I had watched Old Boy in high school, like third year, I think, and I had forgotten most of it apart from maybe the first half hour. But halfway through, I remembered what the twist was, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see Cameron's reaction to the twist." And yeah, that was a joy. I won't say what the twist was because you got to go watch it yourself. But yeah, Old Boy, a very light-hearted film.
Was it quite an animated reaction for me in that? I can't even remember. Like, was it?
I
can remember
I don't
watching it in
remember
the cinema,
what
but
the
I can't-
reaction was. I remember more so just me realizing, oh shit.
That's fair enough.
It's a biggie. But yeah, it was it's also just a really good film.
Yeah.
And finally being able to see it again was nice.
Another one for me, when I went to the London Film Festival the first time, I was drenched in sweat because I was running around the entire time. Like, I was just like, because I was like, I was really like out of place because the flight was delayed slightly, so I had tickets to see First Man in the IMAX in London,
Right.
and I had to sprint. I had to get the tube and I had to sprint with like, I gave my bag to my mum because my mum had come down with me for some reason, and but I'd still had like my bag that I needed to like survive, and I was in this. I was in like a bigger jumper than this on the tube, and I was sprinting from like Waterloo to the IMAX, and I saw the IMAX. But by the first proper London Film Festival film I saw was The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Okay.
And afterwards, it was not so much the experience of the film because I enjoyed the film, but afterwards, the entire cast and Joel and Ethan Coen just fucking walk in and start to do a Q&A, and I was just like, I'm in fucking heaven. This is amazing. Please just fucking take me away. Like, I'm having a great time here. And then the next year, Taika Waititi, which you can't beat. So
that would have been good.
It's film festivals are so much fun, and you can't beat I think this entry for me would have to be film festivals as a whole, because film festivals are my favorite ways to watch a movie, because they can make a bad movie good because of just the atmosphere that you're watching these films in, and knowing you're surrounded by like-minded people, knowing that people that this has been put on, you're not going to see this film for a while sometimes, or you're never going to see this film in a cinema again. and talking to people. I don't like talking to people at the best times, but talking to people when at a film festival, and there's just like love, this shared love of like cinema and film in general, and just a great experience. And that's what I miss. I miss that virtual festivals will never ever be the same because you don't have a Costa debrief afterwards. You can't have a Costa debrief after a virtual film. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's shit. The film festivals, miss them.
Yeah, I really need to come to a film festival sometime.
You do. I've tried to
if
get
they
you to
ever
come
start again.
many times. I've tried to convince you.
Yeah,
to come,
well, some
not
of
even
us
to
don't
London,
have a
just
lot
to
of
Edinburgh.
money. Some
Just
of
to
us don't have a
Edinburgh.
lot of money. So we need to
£5
work
tickets.
and pay
£5
rent.
tickets.
It costs a lot to go down to London.
You don't have to go to London. I'm saying there's an Edinburgh one, there's a Glasgow one. I'm sure I had a spare ticket for maybe not for Seoul because that was a dangerous time, but there was other stuff I had spare tickets for, and you said no, and I was very saddened by that. But
I think it was Seoul.
was it just Seoul? I'm sure I've invited you to things before, but hey.
But yeah, the closest I've got was part of a BAFTA screening of, because we used to be part of BAFTA. BAFTA screening of Roma, which has become one of my favorite films since. I went in not knowing anything about it. You had talked about it on a podcast before, talking about your adventures at a film festival, and I had forgotten everything that you'd said. And it was just me and a bunch of old people that I think were like journalists, like professionals there wanting to see the film. So yeah, it was just really nice, and it was very quiet. And Roma has very not long credits, but like nothing happens for the credits, and just everyone sat there, and it was
BAFTA make
really
you sit
nice.
for the credits though, because remember we had like this small remember we went to see Mary Queen of Scots and we wanted to leave. Was it you? Yeah, we wanted to leave immediately after, and we're like, I cannot sit for this because I hated the film and I want to leave. But before it, there was a slide that says, "Please sit through the credits," because it's BAFTA, and BAFTA is an organization for like crew members and people that work in the industry. So it's only respectful you have to sit through the credits.
All right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like, it's still like a. I would imagine everyone was stunned by Roma because Roma has, and in the cinema as well, you're never gonna, unless you have an expensive setup, you're never gonna have the same immersive experience of Roma in a house or on a phone.
No.
I saw Roma at the film festival in London. I remember that now. That was a great experience because it was in the Cinema 1 of Picture House Central.
Right.
And that has Dolby Atmos.
Oh.
So, and when I say I had to turn around a couple times because I thought someone was talking behind me, like I was like, "Why don't you do it?" Like, but then I realized it was just the speakers. That was a great experience.
And then finally, for me, a great experience was seeing Mad Max Fury Road in cinemas with my dad. It was really nice. It's the film that made me want to become a filmmaker, and saw that May of 2015. I was still in high school, I think, 6th year.
You must have been 6th year because I think I was 5th year when that came out.
But yeah,
no, 4th year. I can't remember where it was. So it must maybe. I did the exact same thing. I went to go see it with my dad. Like 4 months into its run, it was like just about to leave cinemas because I remember it was like only showing once, and I was like, "Dad, you have to come and see this with me." And yeah, no, I always forget how good Fury Road is. You probably don't because you love Fury Road, but
I know you forget how bad it is.
How good Fury Road is.
How good it is.
Just because of I don't know. I always forget. You know, it's just one of those ones that you're just sort of like, oh, I have to remind yourself every so often. Fury Road's great because that's what I did. One of the things I did last year was watch all the Mad Max films because I hadn't seen the first 3, and I watched Fury Road after them all, and that was a great time. And I didn't realize how good 2 was. 2 is the Road Warrior is my favorite one. Like,
right,
like, you know, that's just amazing. And we need to experience them together at some point, Jordi, because I have the 4K.
Cinemas.
I've got the 4K copy of Mad Max, new scanned 4K scan. So
Yeah.
I
But if,
think it'll
the,
look fucking
if
tasty.
somewhere, when cinemas open again, if they could do a marathon
Yeah.
of them all. Yeah. You got anything else, or can we?
Um, not really. I remember the only thing I can ever like going further back. The only thing I can remember vividly is Guardians of the Galaxy in IMAX.
All right.
That was a good one. I think just being blown away with it. It was the first time I saw that had the changing aspect ratio, which made me a nerd for IMAX basically. And that was one of the things I loved. And I remember convincing my mum after showing my mum. I remember convincing my mum by going, "Hey, look, they have like the only way to see like the special version is in IMAX in Edinburgh." We went to the IMAX in Edinburgh to see it. But yeah, that was
right.
That was a good one for me.
Yeah,
just because I'm a weirdo.
Before we move on, I just remembered that I went to see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 at the LA premiere at the Man Chinese Theatre. Don't know why I didn't think of that before, because that was
a big one.
That was a big one. That's a big cinema experience. It was great. There we queued up. There were people watching the films on like digital like devices, DVD film things.
Yeah.
Forgot what they're called.
DVD players.
Portable, that's the word I was looking for. But yeah, and then there were people, we were sitting down, there were people all dressed up at the front and being like, "Oh, let's have a duel." And then a guy went, "No curses," and then everyone laughed, and it was fantastic.
Oh.
Also another one, we saw this wee film called Silencio.
Yes, that was a great one. That was at the
in a theatre.
Holly in
Holly at
QMU.
QMU. Great film. One. Everyone laughed at the points they were supposed to. It was fantastic. Yeah.
I can't remember that at all. I think it's because I think it's one of those times where I just shut my body. I just shut my body down. Like I can't. I have to sit for this, and I'm gonna have to deal with this. And if they hate it, I'm gonna have to just kill myself or just burst into flames and just stop.
That was fantastic.
We should have won. I would maintain that we should have won that category.
We were snubbed.
But I will tell you that film is used as an example of a good one.
I know, which I wish they had told us.
But yeah.
Moving on. That's all done.
That's that.
Goodbye 2020. Anymore. What are we talking about now? We're talking about what we watched this past week. What have you been up to, Cameron?
This past week, I don't watch a lot of things just in general at the moment, just because of where my headspace at. Cause I've got so much uni work on and just kind of focusing on dissertations. But we do sort of right now. My family has a ritual of watching on a Friday night. We watch WandaVision, and then a film that's come out or a film I've wanted to watch for a while. So this week we can talk about WandaVision afterwards. But I saw Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay.
Which I have to say didn't blow me away like it blew everyone else away. I thought Lakeith was good in it.
Right.
I thought Daniel Kaluuya sort of overdid it in the nicest possible way, because I love that man. He had a really thick Chicago accent that's just uninterpretable for most of the film.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah, worse. It's like
the Black Panther Party.
Like it's just very much over the top, and then the rest of the film feels like stuff and I know it's a true story, and I know it's something that hasn't been done before, I believe, in film, but it wasn't done in a way that catches your eye at all. There's nothing. It's just very bog standard. There's nothing that sets it apart from other films of the same kind of type, if that makes sense. Like
right.
Other like Oscar kind of dramas like that. There's nothing that really sets it apart. The color grading's really bland and washed out for some reason. The cinematography is really just boring in general. I really wish it'd done something more, like in the way that I don't want it to be a copy. I know Black Klansman was sort of being a homage to the 70s action movies, like blaxploitation films of that era. I didn't want this to be that, because I know there's other ways, and I know there's other ways to do it. I just wish it had done something more inventive instead of just being man talks to camera. Just very boring way it's kind of set up. It's just for me. I don't know.
We basically now have a weekly weekly material because we got WandaVision coming out, and then we got Ray and the Last Dragon after, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
WandaVision, what Raya should be on the same week as the finale.
Oh, right.
I believe. I think.
So that we have a break.
A break, yes.
Right. But yeah, because Disney have just last year we experienced no Marvel content. We got Mandalorian, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then at the Disney Investors Day, they came out and they were like, "Here's everything in 2 years. In 2 years, we are going to experience as much Marvel content as we have for the last 11 years for the Infinity Saga."
Do you not think if comic book movie fatigue is going to happen, it's going to happen in the next 2 years? Basically.
Never
but
gonna
it's
happen.
not going to happen. People always think it's going to happen. I can tell you right now, comic book fatigue doesn't exist, so it's never happening.
It's never going to happen. It's great. But yeah.
What are your thoughts on WandaVision then? What are you thinking about that?
So in the recent, this is going to be spoiler territory now if you don't want to listen. But yeah, Quicksilver or Pietro Maximoff has showed up,
yeah.
Being played now by Evan Peters. Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in the last 3 X-Men films.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly the only good part of the last 3 X-Men films for me.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he was the best cast out of all of them. I mean, there was really for those last 3 films, there were some really poor casting choices for the new people.
Yeah. Like when people try to argue how good the films were, they always say, "Oh, the Quicksilver scenes."
It's like that's that's a 2-minute sequence in a 2-hour film.
Yeah, like
although I maintain Days of Future Past was good, but that still had the old X-Men in it. So
But yeah, so he showed up, and now everyone's thinking, is it him from the multiverse? Is it actually him? Is it Mephisto?
Maybe, but I also think he's been added in. I think he might be the person that Monica knows.
Right?
Because he seems to have some kind of...
I saw a thing that somebody thinks that he is from a different multiverse, and it's Doctor Strange doing it. But I think he's acting too strange.
I just, because of the questions he asked last week, I just sort of, something sat with me, I just sort of went, he knew more stuff, but he still didn't, because he's Pietro, it's kind of blinded Wanda, because he's pretending to be Pietro.
Yeah.
But
he is aware of everything that's going on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think Monica might have sent him in secretly, and that might be the person, and he's sending, we update somehow or something, and it's just completely blinded. I don't know. It's just
why would he be the aerospace engineer?
That's what I don't know. That's what I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think he's probably more likely to be the missing person that Jimmy Woo's looking at. Jimmy Woo, by the way.
What a man. We love Randall Park. He is my favorite.
Can I just pitch now for the next big sort of Secret Wars film? The big climactic battle film. Jimmy Woo wielding Mjolnir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also for a Disney Plus series, Wong and Woo, or Woo and Wong, getting up to sci-fi and magical adventures, solving cases.
Well, that's what people want, isn't it? People want that to happen, not for Wong, but for
people want like an Agents of Atlas,
which I think is on the way. It must be on the way. I
think after this, after everyone's shown their love for Woo, sorry. People, Marvel, they'd be stupid not to cash in on.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think's going to happen, Cameron?
I don't know. I know we're going to have to meet Mephisto at some point, because isn't he like the confirmed villain at this point? We know he's in it.
He's not confirmed, but like, it's maybe got to be. There's so many references to death and hell and demon spawn, and Mephisto has ties in the comic books to Wiccan and Speed, or Tommy and Billy, the twins.
and also the advert last week. The adverts usually, which kind of portray like a moment in Wanda's life, didn't really portray a moment in Wanda's life this week. It was a man who couldn't eat and then died.
Yeah,
and it made me think of Vision.
Yeah, he couldn't access the Yo Magic yogurt, which I think that's just a representation of Wanda's sort of grief that because she can't access the magic, people died, and now she has accessed Yo Magic.
Well, that's what is it not the fact that if Vision doesn't have access to the magic, he'll die? Or are you just saying more in general that if people that she loves don't have access to magic, they'll die?
Yeah, I think just because a lot of the past ones have been about her trauma, I think that because she's not as powerful as she wants to be or will be, she couldn't bring people back from the dead. And I think somebody stepped in and was like, I can help you bring people back from the dead.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that's how it's gonna go. Anything else you want to point out from this week?
Halloween costumes were cool. I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, a lot of references to comic book accurate.
I screamed when what is it? Is it Tommy or Billy? Is it both? What one's Wiccan?
Billy.
I screamed when Billy was in Wiccan, out the Wiccan outfit. I was like, oh my god, he's like dressed up as Wiccan. That's exciting for me. That was what. Yeah, that was my own thing. But it was a good episode. It was a more enjoyable episode, I have to say. And I also think people are starting to come around on it because remember everyone was really fucking down on it for the first 2 episodes for no reason at all, other than the fact it was in black and white.
People are still down on it because it's a weekly thing and it's taking so long to tell a story.
It's like fucking cry, man.
Like
that's
a TV
what TV
show
is.
does, yeah.
It's so much better than the fact it's coming out weekly, though. And I've been saying this to people that have been asking me about how I think about it because it'd be just so very much one and done. Like, I'd have watched it by now if it came out in January 29th and we'd seen everything. And no one would be talking week to week. There wouldn't be this kind of hype. You wouldn't have something to look forward to. You lose a lot of stuff when it's just, when it's just like that. Yeah. So I have to say,
it's this negative effect of instant gratification.
Yeah.
That people have come to assume will happen.
That's what I liked about I did end up watching The Boys because I kind of wasn't very well when The Boys ended up coming out, but I did like the fact that The Boys was weekly as well. Like, I remember watching the first couple episodes and then I kind of had to fall off because I wasn't feeling very well.
Right.
But I enjoyed The Boys was the fact The Boys was weekly when I could watch it weekly. So
yeah. So going from Marvel to DC, a couple of days ago, Justice League trailer came out for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes. We live in a society, apparently.
We live in a society. It's a meme. It's a meme film.
That's all I have to say in it, really. I mean, the trailer was good before that, sort of. I mean, it was fine.
It's boxed.
I know, it's boxed, and I'll tell you why it's boxed.
I hate it.
Zack Snyder originally shot this for IMAX, but Zack Snyder doesn't understand how IMAX works. In the fact that the old IMAX screens have a ratio of 1:3, okay?
Okay.
And films sometimes can fill up that, but they're not supposed to be framed to fill up the entire aspect ratio, okay? It's just supposed to, the top, so it could be like a 185 or a 240 film, and that's just supposed to be the way the film is framed, and the rest of it is just genuinely just to fill your peripheral vision. It's not supposed to contain any details. It's not supposed to contain anything that's vital to the story. It's just supposed to be an immersive IMAX experience, okay?
Yeah.
There's nothing that's supposed to be in those frames. It's just supposed to go beyond your peripheral vision. It's supposed to just fill up your entire being. You're supposed to be in the film. Zack Snyder doesn't understand that. Zack Snyder has shot the film in a way that needs to be seen in 1:3 or 1:33, I believe is what the aspect ratio of that is.
Yeah.
So all the vital information is still on the top and the bottom.
It's going to be too big.
At all.
Right.
So the version we would have seen in cinemas, if we'd seen it in the IMAX that we usually go to, we'd have saw fuck all because it wasn't even correctly formatted for digital IMAX, which is shit.
It's a good thing that it's being released on TV then.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd have the screen and you'd be like, You're going.
Well, yeah,
around.
that's the issue. It's just supposed to be like Endgame had expanded aspect ratio, but there wasn't anything in the small box that you were missing. It was just supposed to be so that it surrounded you when you saw it in IMAX.
That's why when you get the videos of like the comparisons, and it's like the screen, and then it stretches out just a little bit.
Yeah,
but then with Justice League, it will be like that, and then somebody will be talking, and then it will stretch out. It's like, oh, there's the other guy that he's talking to.
That's how stupid it is. Yeah. People will get annoyed about me saying that though, because you know what they're like. I
can't wait for the film to finish with Cyborg being like, "I'm out of here, guys," and then flying up into the air and then exploding into fireworks.
I wonder if
everyone watches
because he doesn't like to say that.
I think he'll say, "Thanks, Walter Hamada. Ada here."
Shame he won't be in the Flash. But I don't have anything else to say on that other than I will talk to you about it when it comes out, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what else did I watch? Oh, I just want to quickly add I watched Sinbad for the first time.
The cartoon?
Yes. I'd never seen it before. Great film. Didn't understand why it was so good, but it was very good.
The man putting all his weapons on the table is just classic cinema moment. Thank you guys for watching or listening to the first episode of Four Eyes and the Giant. We hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Try and get this going around everywhere. You can find us at our social medias, which are above our heads right now. Or if you're listening, I guess, I'm at Real Jordi Steel on Twitter.
I'm at Cam's OG.
And the podcast in general is at Four Eyes Giant. So yeah. Cameron, do you have anything to plug?
I have lots of things to plug in. Ojai Films, this entire thing that we do this under, 35-minute movies is the new podcast, also a new podcast launched this week as well, where me and my friend Awais, we are ranking and reviewing every Vin Diesel movie that's ever come out, which is a lot of fun. We're having a great time with it. So if you want to listen to that, the link will probably be in the description. Hopefully.
Can't wait for the pacifier.
You can be on the episode if you want.
Can't wait for the Iron Giant. That's going to be great.
That's next week. That's his third film.
Did you say you were ranking them?
We're ranking and reviewing them. So we're going to go through them, and then as each week we're ranking.
Well, Iron Giant's going to be on top for a while. I can't think of anything better.
Saving Private Ryan, though.
Oh. Are you doing it films in general, or
we're doing two lists? We're doing film overall, right, and we're doing how Vin Diesel of a Vin Diesel performance this is in terms of just like, you know, like Dominic Toretto, or like just what you think of when you think Vin Diesel, you know, just like family, you know, that kind of Vin Diesel. So
the Diesel price.
Exactly. So that's what we do, and it's great fun. You should be on an episode sometime. I would love you to be on it. It's a great time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another film that he's done that I like. Pitch Black.
I've not seen that. I'm looking forward to that.
Have you seen any of the other Riddicks?
No, I've not. I'm looking forward to them. I got the Arrow release of Pitch Black.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to watching that. So
I'll come on for the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Okay. Episode. Actually, do you know what? That'd be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
So we'll do those.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day.
See you later.
That was fantastic.
That was great.